Namaste, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. My name is JVN Manisha Singh. Today I teach you equilibrium moisture content, which is a part of unit operation in food industry. Then equilibrium moisture content. Every food exerts a characteristic vapor pressure at a certain temperature and a moisture content. All porous food materials, when in contact with the moist air, either they absorb or dissolve moisture, water molecules to attain equilibrium moisture content. This equilibrium moisture content depends very strongly on the partial pressure of the water vapor in the surrounding air and rather weakly on the air temperature that are commonly experienced in drying and storage of foods. If the moisture content of the food material does not vary with time for a given combination of water vapor pressure and air temperature, it is then said that it has reached the equilibrium moisture content of the material at the water vapor pressure and temperature. When left undisturbed, the natural end of any adsorption or desorption process is the attainment of equilibrium moisture content. This, though a natural process, is very slow. Food materials may take several days or weeks to reach the equilibrium. When the water vapor pressure of air approaches the saturation water vapor pressure at the temperature of the air, the equilibrium moisture content of food material rapidly increases. At these stages, the process by the food material is only by adsorption. Water vapor begins to condense within the pore structures of the building material. Theoretically, if the food material is in contact with the air that is 100% saturated for a very long time, all the pores of the material should be filled with the condensed moisture. The equilibrium moisture content that corresponds to the hypothetical state is known as saturation moisture content of the material, but in practice, the rate of this process becomes infinitely small at an equilibrium moisture content that is known as capillary saturation moisture content and is often substantially less than the saturation moisture content referred to the above. This is the graph which shows the ERH, that there is a water activity and here is the water content. Then that much water activity is for the dehydrated foods, then intermediate moisture foods, then food tissues. Okay, then drying of grain involves exposing air to the ambient air with low relative humidity or the heated air. This will evaporate the moisture from the grain and then drying air will remove the moisture from the grain bulk. Since drying practices can have a big impact on grain quality or seed quality, it is important to understand some fundamentals grain drying. Then what is the importance of equilibrium moisture content? The concept of equilibrium moisture content is important in the study of drying and storage of fruits, vegetables and grains. Then basically it determines the shelf life of the fruits, vegetables and the grains. The EMC helps to decide the stability of the food at a particular moisture content in the given environment. The EMC values of several grains and foods have been determined by several research workers and reported in the literature. If exposed to the air, high moisture foods lose moisture, whereas low moisture foods gain moisture in the humid air. EMC determines the minimum moisture content to which food can be dried under a given set of conditions. Also, it determines the maximum amount of moisture the dehydrated food can absorb during the storage. Then the EMC can be elaborated by the example given by the Hall. If wheat and oats having the 16% moisture content and are kept in the environment of 86 degrees Celsius and 75% relative humidity, then wheat will absorb moisture and oats will dissolve or lose the moisture. This is because the different vapor pressures of the moisture in the wheat and oats. At above air temperature and humidity, the vapor pressure of the wheat is 0.444 psi and oat is 0.477 psi. And whereas the vapor pressure of the moisture is 86 degrees Celsius and 75% relative humidity is 0.461 psi. Okay, then the moisture content, the vapor pressure of the wheat is less than the vapor pressure of the moisture content of the air. Moisture in the air, then therefore they gain the moisture, whereas the the vapor pressure of the oats and the vapor pressure of the moisture in the air is less is more than the relative humidity of the relative humidity, then therefore it is absorb the moisture. Okay, they dissolve, basically they lose the moisture, then therefore wheat will gain moisture from air as vapor pressure of air is more than wheat. At the same time, oat will lose moisture as its vapor pressure is higher than the air. There is always a tendency of movement of moisture from high vapor pressure to the lower vapor pressure. This is the figure shows the movement of the moisture. This is the food sample. If there is a low RH in the air, then moisture will lose by the food up to the equilibrium moisture content. If there is a high RH of the air, then there will be a gain of the equilibrium moisture content. Then what is the definition of equilibrium? RH, ERH. Okay. Then equilibrium relative humidity. Then when the vapor pressure of water held by food particles becomes equal to the water vapor pressure of the surrounding air, the movement of moisture stops and comes to equilibrium. At this moment, the food product remains at the same moisture content in the same air temperature and humidity. This moisture is called equilibrium moisture content, and the relative humidity of air surrounding the food particles at the same conditions is called as equilibrium relative humidity, and which is known as water activity. What are the factors which affect the ERH? EMC. The EMC is mainly dependent upon the air temperature and relative humidity. If a food sample of same initial moisture content and vapor pressure is exposed to air having different vapor pressures and equilibrium at different moisture content values. Therefore, it can be understood that the EMC is dependent upon the pressure, which in turn depends on the temperature and relative humidity. And figure 3 shows the graphical representation of the range of EMC with water vapor pressures V1 to V4. Okay, guys. Then this is the difference graphical representation of change of EMC with different vapor pressures from V1 to the V4. Okay. Then sorption theory. EMC data for dry foods, which is a generally hygroscopic, describes the moisture content originating from an interaction with the moisture and temperature of the surrounding air. If a dry food is placed in environment with a constant humidity and temperature, it will take up moisture by adsorption until it reaches its equilibrium moisture content, where the net moisture exchange is zero, which is called as adsorption EMC. If, however, a wet food with the same properties is placed in the same environment, it will lose moisture by desorption and reach the equilibrium moisture content, which is called desorption EMC. For each product, the relative humidity of environment can be changed and different adsorption and desorption EMC values can be obtained. If these values are plotted on a graph, a loop is obtained, which is hysteresis. The hysteresis effect is observed due to shrinkage effect during the desorption, which changes the water binding properties of the food. Therefore, during adsorption, same path of EMC is not followed. This is the adsorption and this is the desorption curve. Okay, then and this is the hysteresis. Then Kelvin model is introduced to calculate the EMC, and EMC model based on the condensation in the capillary. He developed relationship between the vapor pressure over the liquid in capillary PV and the saturated vapor pressure at the same temperature PVS. The relationship as follows: log base PV by PVG is equal to where PV is the water vapor pressure of the product, PVS is the saturated water vapor pressure at the equilibrium temperature of the system, rho is the surface tension of the moisture, V is the volume of the moisture in the liquid form, R is the cylindrical capillary radius, and alpha is the contact angle between the moisture and capillary fall. Hope you all are satisfied with this session. If you have any query, please comment in the comment box and I will resolve them. Thank you very much.